Welcome to NTD Newsroom. I'm Don Ma. As tax season begins, President Trump launches Trump Accounts, the new savings program aimed at helping families build long-term wealth for their children. We have the latest on a high-profile summit in the nation's capital. Secretary of State Marco Rubio appears before the Senate today to outline President Trump's Venezuela policy. It's the first time Rubio has publicly faced lawmakers' questions since the capture of Nicolas Maduro. A government funding deadline is approaching as lawmakers remain divided over DHS spending. A look at the negotiations and the latest on ICE operations in Minnesota. President Trump repeated his demand that Iran come to the table and make a deal on nuclear weapons. The president said if not, the next U.S. attack would be far worse. Amazon is cutting 16,000 jobs in its second round of layoffs in 3 months. What's behind the cuts?
This is NTD Newsroom, live from our global headquarters in New York City.
Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us today. Secretary of State Marco Rubio testified before the Senate on the U.S. involvement in Venezuela. Lawmakers also pressed the National Security Advisor on several crises around the world. Our Washington correspondent, Luis Eduardo Martinez, has the details.
I certainly agree with the chairman in terms of his comments relative to Nicolas Maduro. He was bad for Venezuela, he was bad for the region, and he was bad for the United States.
President Trump's actions against narco-terrorists and his capture of Maduro have made America safer. Every American should be thanking Donald Trump and Marco Rubio for what they have done.
Democrat and Republican senators applauded the Trump administration's execution of Operation Absolute Resolve, which resulted in the capture of Nicolas Maduro in Venezuela.
For the first time in 20 years, we are having serious conversations about eroding and eliminating the Iranian presence, the Chinese influence, the Russian presence as well.
Secretary Rubio outlined a process of political stabilization that would culminate in the transition to put to an end the regime in Venezuela and restore democracy.
We are dealing with people over there that have spent most of their lives living in a gangster paradise. And we are certainly better off today in Venezuela than we were 4 weeks ago. And I think and hope and expect that we'll be better off in 3 months, in 6 months, in 9 months than we would have been had Maduro still been there.
Senators also pressed Secretary Rubio on the Trump administration's stance towards NATO.
And I am asking you to do everything you can to reinforce our commitment to NATO.
NATO needs to be reimagined as well in terms of the obligations. And this is not new to this president. Multiple presidents have complained about it. I think this president just complains about it louder than other presidents. And one of the things we've explained to our allies in NATO is the United States is not simply focused on Europe. We also have defense needs in the Western Hemisphere. We have defense needs in the Indo-Pacific.
Secretary Rubio warned the Iranian regime against future crackdowns against protesters and urged the regime to commit to political and economic reform.
The protests may have ebbed, but they will spark up again in the future because this regime, unless they are willing to change and or leave, have no way of addressing the legitimate and consistent complaints of the people of Iran who deserve better.
It is important to note that after Operation Absolute Resolve, crucial Venezuelan oil shipments to the communist Cuban regime have stopped. And after the Trump administration applied pressure on the Mexican government, Mexican oil shipments have been canceled to the communist Cuban regime as well. Reporting from Washington, D.C., Luis Eduardo Martinez, NTD News.
Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent says more than 500,000 families have signed up for the Trump administration's investment accounts in recent days. Bessent's comments come as the administration promotes the initiative created this year under Trump's One Big Beautiful Bill Act.
From an early age, our citizens will be able to observe the benefits of free markets in real time, and it's all thanks to President Trump. Trump accounts are a generational down payment on the American dream. They are the culmination of more than 2 centuries of capitalism and financial markets changing the world, and they are the key to unlocking the next 250 years of our national prosperity. By giving each newborn citizen a material stake in the American dream through Trump accounts, President Trump is minting future investors on every rung of the economic ladder. He is embedding, there's an investor. He is embedding financial literacy in the next generation, and he is creating an ownership economy to help secure the American experiment for the next century, the next 250 years.
The Treasury will deposit $1,000 into investment accounts for all children born between 2025 and 2028. The initiative has drawn wide support so far. In December, billionaire investor Ray Dalio announced he would help fund Trump accounts for certain children in Connecticut. Michael and Susan Dell have contributed over $6 billion. Today, J.P. Morgan Chase and Bank of America announced they will match $1,000 contributions to Trump accounts for eligible children of employees. Companies like BlackRock, Charter Communications, Uber, Visa, and MasterCard have also pledged support. Besson said there will be additional contributions from private investors, which will be announced later today. Meanwhile, during the summit, President Trump noted that Visa will have a mechanism that allows cardholders to put their credit card rewards into Trump accounts. At Trump Account Summit, NTD's Washington correspondent Mario Otsu talked with Canadian investor and entrepreneur Kevin O'Leary on his opinion on the Trump accounts for kids. Take a look.
How do Trump accounts like low-cost index and their compound growth potential stack up as a kind of early investing vehicle for kids compared to maybe more traditional options that you've seen on Shark Tank or elsewhere?
What I love about this is it forces that individual to leave that money alone for 18 years, sequester it for the future, and enjoy the compound growth the market provides and has for 200 years. And so it's a way of supporting every family, not just the child, because many families are burdened by the cost of education of their children once they turn 18. Now you've got a nest egg growing here, and you can contribute to this thing every year, and others like your employer can too. What I love about this is if you're the employer, you don't just invest in the employee, invest in their family. It's a great idea. It's bipartisan. It's just plain good all around.
And so you have praised private matching, like with the Dells, and how can more CEOs and more corporations turn them Trump accounts into maybe a scalable business or an employee tool for retention and financial literacy more broadly?
Well, Dell's gone beyond the call of duty because he's providing it to every child that might have been born pre this period. And he's contributing over $6 billion. He's sort of leading the way corporately as an example, and I think it's fantastic what he's done. I really think that this is how a country heals itself. When it's broken and when Social Security is being questioned and the future of it being questioned, this is a pivot towards a different way of solving the problem, which makes so much sense. Most people understand the merit of this, even if they don't understand the inner workings of the market. You don't need to understand the inner workings. You just know that it's working for you. And that's 110 million people that don't have any plan for their future in America.
What do you think is the relationship right now between hope and kind of a sense of future that maybe young people are missing?
I think people are concerned because there's so much change around the world. That's always been the case. The key to this is to create an anchor, a base, something that you know is yours as you're growing. And I think it's great for financial literacy because kids are going to start checking the value of their account on their phone as soon as they hit 11 or 12 years old. And that helps them understand, wow, this is my money, and one day I can use this to start my own family. There's nothing wrong with this idea. I can't find a single problem with it.
So what do you say, lastly, to those critics? How do you counter claims that the Trump accounts privatize Social Security to widen inequality?
I wish we could privatize Social Security. I wish we would take it off the back of the government and put some of it onto the individual, and that's exactly what's happening here.
Thank you so much.
Got it. Thanks.
President Trump wrapped up his remarks at the Treasury Department summit launching the new Trump accounts. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent is speaking now. Let's take a look.
President Trump recognized the shortcoming of this idea while also grasping its promise, so he set out to perfect it. Working with some of the most talented businessmen in the country, including Brad Gerstner and Michael Dell, he pioneered Trump accounts, investment accounts that newborn Americans can receive on day one. Trump accounts allow for private ownership, multiple funding pathways, and direct investment across a broad swath of the American economy. Where President Trump's predecessors created debt and dependency, President Trump always insists every day on creating assets and expanding ownership to the American people. This is a signature characteristic of his presidency. With Trump accounts, every American child born between January 1, 2025 and December 31, 2028 is eligible to receive a $1,000 seed contribution from the Treasury Department that will immediately be invested in an index fund. To claim this investment, most families need merely check a box on Form 4547, the most aptly named tax document of all time. We are just 3 days into the 2026 tax filing season, and already approximately 600,000 American families have elected to open a Trump account for their children. The compound growth from Treasury's initial seed funding alone stands to make young Americans wealthy. Assuming historical growth rates continue, a single $1,000 deposit into a Trump account at birth should grow to an estimated amount of at least $500,000 by the age of retirement. The $1,000 seed from Treasury is exclusive to newborns, but keep in mind that any American below the age of 18 is also eligible to receive a tax-advantaged Trump account to begin saving for the future. Philanthropists, family, friends, employers, and states can backfill Trump accounts for these children to help them build a strong financial foundation before graduating from high school. Our objective is to provide every American child with a Trump account, and the men and women in this audience will help make that possible. In addition to the $1,000 seed from Treasury, there are 3 other channels for funding Trump accounts. First, through the donations of parents, friends, and employers. Second, through the generous donations of wealthy Americans and philanthropic organizations. And third, through donations from state governments. President Trump wanted to make it especially easy for family, friends, and employers to give to Trump accounts, and he has succeeded in that goal. Donations to a Trump account will soon be the best gift a child could ever receive. Starting July 4th, our nation's 250th anniversary, family, friends, and employers will be able to contribute up to $5,000 to each Trump account each year. By contributing the maximum amount annually, the Council of Economic Advisors estimates that a child's Trump account could be worth more than $1 million at age 28 and tens of millions by the age of retirement. Donations from employers are essential to bringing the president's vision to life. Already, we have seen a large number of U.S. businesses across a wide range of industries step up to support Trump accounts. Companies like Charles Schwab, Uber, Charter Communications, Bank of New York Mellon, State Street, MasterCard, Visa, Block, Robinhood, SoFi, Chime, Russell Investments, and Dell Technologies have all announced they will match employee contributions to Trump accounts in a variety of forms that work best for the employees. And just today, Steak and Shake, Broadcom, Intel, IBM, JP Morgan, Chipotle, Coinbase, and Comcast all announced that they will offer matching contributions as well. The president foresees a day where matching contributions to Trump accounts will be as integral to an employee benefits package as a matching 401k. Through Trump accounts, our president is putting the American dream within the reach of every citizen, no matter the circumstances at birth. When young Americans turn 18, they can use their Trump accounts to keep saving for their retirement, or they can use them to help purchase a new home or further their education, 2 hallmarks of the American dream. The next means of
and you're watching now Secretary of the Treasury Scott Bessent speaking in Washington about the Trump account, saying that around 600,000 American families have already opted in for a Trump account, and according to his estimate, it's set to grow to $500,000 by retirement age. And he says it's the best gift for a child that he can receive. And joining us to discuss this further is Tim Dozier, Executive Director of Unleash Prosperity, and Michael Bosler, Professor of Finance, Stockton University. So first of all, good afternoon to you both. Tim, I'd like to start with you. So having heard what Secretary of Treasury Scott Bessent said just now and what President Trump has said earlier today, what is your feeling about Trump accounts?
Well, as you've been seeing all morning, and by the way, I was at the event earlier before the president spoke and as the president was speaking, and you see these families in there, a lot of kids joining, and you start to think about what is the real thing happening here. And the real thing happening here is we're changing the conversation in Washington, D.C. to away from Social Security, this tired, broken system that has been pillaged and taken from and not a reliable form of retirement from this generation coming up. And we're putting it in the hands of parents and children for their future. Like you said, even if you did nothing with this money, by age 55, you're going to have $200,000 waiting for you. That's an estimate, of course. And that right there is a better return than anything that the government could make. And President Trump made that point today. And so I think this really is an incredible opportunity for parents to take control, to have a leg up in not only just providing money and financing, but to be able to talk to their kids about the greatest force in the universe, according to Ben Franklin, and that's compound interest. What a cool opportunity.
All right, Michael, what do you think?
I agree with Tim completely. This is absolutely marvelous. And I'll tell you, some of the long-term benefits, so many of the young today are starting to question capitalism. They're starting to look at socialism. We see in some cities, even like New York, socialists are being elected into mayor. And a lot of people are starting to look to have the government take care of them. What this does, it puts at least $1,000 at birth, and the money keeps growing. It's invested typically in a mutual fund or an ETF, and it will continue to grow. And then children, as they're growing up, as soon as they're old enough to use their smartphone, which I think is relatively young now, they're going to take a look and say, you know, I'm part of the system now. I own shares in these companies. This is not just a difference between capital and labor. We've kind of bridged the gap here. Everybody that eventually these kids will start working, but they'll have investments in corporations. So when the economy grows and these companies say our earnings are going up, everybody's going to say, hey, that benefits me. My account's going up too. I see the value of capitalism. I see how capital grows, the importance of compounding. And you know, every time my grandparents or relatives want to give me a $50 gift card for my birthday, I'll just say, put it into my account here, these Trump accounts, and the money will grow. This is a monumental, massive, positive impact on the youth that will end up helping the economy grow going forward and helping young people really understand how the economy works. This is marvelous.
Okay, so Tim, you made a great point about compound interest being a great force. So there is a $5,000 cap on yearly investments across all accounts. Do you think these rules ensure that all families are given a fair shot at maximizing benefits?
I think that that's what they could get at the time. Obviously, it would be great to have no cap, but of course, that was not the size of the one big beautiful bill to allow it. So I think it's a great start. I mean, an IRA, you're looking at probably $7,000 max for contribution per year. So you're not too far behind with the Trump accounts. But this really is something. I just wanted to pivot. Think about what this actually says. This says this teaches children that American companies are worth investing in. It's not sending part of your paycheck to the federal government who will then dole it out when you reach a certain age, and you're not exactly sure how they got to that number, and it's really confusing. What you're doing is you're teaching kids that the best investment that you can make is in the American entrepreneurial ingenuity and that spirit that has made us the wealthiest nation in the history of the world. This has really become such an inspiring thing. And look, not everybody's going to teach their kids this. Not everybody's going to teach their kids that what's happening to their money. But the parents who do that, who would not have done that had this not been there, is going to be a transformative thing. It's going to inspire young kids to be entrepreneurs, to look at the world differently. I wish I had this when I was a kid. I really do, because it would have helped me conceptualize something super complex, because now I have an ownership stake in it and I better be responsible for that.
So, Michael, what do you think of Tim's point that do you think these accounts will help positively promote and incentivize financial planning or wealth building for more families?
It'll benefit everybody. And one thing that is a unique feature of this, well, people could say, look, I can put money into an IRA. However, you have to have earned income. And so if you earned over $7,000, you can take $7,000 per year and put it into a retirement account. These kids don't have to earn any income. So money can go into there whenever anybody wants to make a gift. A kid starts working as a teenager. He's making a few dollars. He starts putting some of that into there, and he understands that when, instead of going out and spending their money on something foolish, they're going to take that money, put it into the account, and they know it's going to grow. So I think it's a huge benefit to all Americans. And as Tim said, if you're a little worried about what's happening with the Social Security system, is it going to have any money when I get there? I've been telling my students for years, I wouldn't count on Social Security when you retire. I would plan on something else. If there's money there, that's great. If it turns out there's not so much money there, you've taken care of it yourself. Well, here, somebody can start at birth putting money away. When they turn 18, they may be able to use it for a number of different things. If they don't, and they just leave it in there and keep adding to it, by the time they're retirement age, there could be millions of dollars in there. You know, a lot of people say, well, I don't want to work. I hear a lot of my students say, I don't want to work till I'm 65. I want to retire at 40. Well, that's great, but it's financially, it's difficult to do. But if you start putting money into an account like this and don't touch it and let it grow through compounding and adding more in, you'll be able to retire when you decide, not when the federal government tells you it's time to retire.
Okay, so
and you'll be able to retire a millionaire. I mean, you literally will retire a millionaire. It's an incredible thing to tell your kids. You want to be a millionaire? This is what you have to do. Do it.
So Tim, Michael brought up a great point. So I want to ask you, how do Trump accounts compare to existing plans? For example, 529 plans.
Well, look, I think that what they did is that you actually can put this toward education. You actually can do this. And basically the 529 is an account the parent sets up for the kid that follows them when they are college age. And I think that they've actually adjusted the law, or they're trying to adjust the law so you can actually spend some of that money before they get college age. That would be a great thing, actually. But this isn't dedicated solely on going to college or on education. This is a savings account. This is an account that you can have control over and dominion over to start a business, or to continue to invest in. It really is a different thing from the 529, which focuses on education.
Okay, Tim. Michael, what are your thoughts on this opt-in structure versus automatic enrollment? Because sometimes when it's opt-in, maybe some Americans will miss enrollment.
Well, what opt-in does, it puts the responsibility on you. The prior administration in particular has been trying to shift away from individual responsibility and towards social responsibility. Don't worry, the government will take care of you. Well, the government's not going to take care of you, and I wouldn't rely on it anyway. This says you're responsible for your own account here. And if you decide you want to sacrifice a little now and put more money in so that you have more when you're 18, this will do that for you. A lot of high school graduates today are starting to question the value of a college education. I think that may be a mistake, but nonetheless, they're questioning the value of a college education. So here will be something, you'll have money saved up. Well, I don't want to go to college. You know what? Maybe I can start my own business. I have an idea for something. I see something else that's working. All I need is a little bit of capital. Well, here you go. You have a little bit of capital. It gives people more options and more opportunities. And they know that they have individual responsibility. And when they end up taking the money and using it, they'll have earned the rewards themselves. Great feeling of self-worth. And that's what the U.S. economy is based on. Individuals taking chances and individuals succeeding and individuals growing as a result of the investment and the chances that they made. This is monumental.
Okay, Tim, I'll end with you if you have any additional thoughts you have right now.
Well, what I want to say is that I'm expecting, we are expecting our first child June 1st. So this will be a Trump account baby. And my wife and I have spent significant time. And the reason why I continue to harp on this notion of changing the narrative is that now we have something to point to instead of, the government is terrible at, whatever. Well, the government has realized now under Trump that prosperity does not start with government. Prosperity starts with American ingenuity, which is represented in index accounts all across the stock market. And that is something that our little girl is going to be able to benefit from. And believe it or not, she will understand what that account means for her. And we hope that she chooses the best for it.
Well, Tim, I got to congratulate you on your upcoming child. Thank you both for speaking to us about this topic today. Really appreciate it.
Pleasure.
Thank you.
A government funding deadline is approaching as lawmakers remain divided over DHS spending. A look at the negotiations and the latest on ICE operations in Minnesota. More news after this break.
Performance that truly matters for each and every one of us. This is what you've been waiting for. See it at least once in your lifetime. Shen Yun. Get tickets now at shenyun.com.
Hi, I'm Jane Seymour, and I spent years on TV playing a doctor. But I learned about the heartbreaking reality of heart disease and stroke when they touched my own life. My father nearly died before having a quadruple bypass and valve replacement that saved him. And my mom, who was my inspiration, suffered a stroke that took away her speech, her ability to move, and ultimately her life. To see someone so vibrant, so positive, who'd survived so much in life, be debilitated by a stroke, it was devastating, and also a wake-up call. And that's why I'm so passionate about supporting the American Heart Association. They're doing more every day to stop needless deaths. But they simply can't do their life-saving work without you. So please, call now or go to helpheart.org. And for only $19 a month, just 63 cents a day, your donation will go to work to do amazing things, like fund the next medical breakthrough, get the next person trained in CPR, and the next hospital certified in high-quality cardiovascular care. I hope that you'll open your heart right now and join me. Please call now or go to helpheart.org. Give $19 a month and we'll send you this special t-shirt that you can proudly wear to show that you're part of a community of monthly donors who are helping save lives. A healthy heart, it's the spirit of life. It makes it possible to do the things that you love, to spend time with your friends and family and fulfill your life's dreams. But so many won't have that chance. Heart disease is America's #1 killer and the #1 killer of women. And that's why I'll do whatever I can to make sure others don't die from heart disease before their time. So please join me. Call the number on your screen or go to helpheart.org. Donate this Heart Month and your first month's gift will be matched.
This is Pho-licious. Now, what is pho? It's an authentic Vietnamese noodle dish. The Pho-licious chicken pho brings the comforting, aromatic flavors of Vietnam to your bowl, and Mama Thu's signature spice blend. Well, this chicken pho is as close to homemade as it gets without the wait. Some cubed chicken, a little lime, and then the magic moment. See you soon, my friends.
Felicious is now available at your local Walmart or walmart.com.
President Trump warning Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey that he is playing with fire. This after the Democratic mayor commented on federal immigration enforcement operations in his city. In a post on X yesterday, the mayor said, quote, Minneapolis does not and will not enforce federal immigration laws, and that we will remain focused on keeping our neighbors and streets safe. This came after he met with border czar Tom Homan, who is in Minnesota, to oversee ICE operations. The mayor added he wanted to see the federal operation end. In a post on Truth Social today, Trump responded saying, quote, could somebody in his inner sanctum please explain that this statement is a very serious violation of the law and that he is playing with fire? Trump said the comment from the mayor is surprising and came despite a good conversation with him earlier. The mayor reacted to Trump's post today saying, the job of our police is to keep people safe, not enforce immigration laws. FBI Director Kash Patel says the Bureau is investigating Signal chat groups that protesters in Minnesota have been using to coordinate activities. He says they're looking for anything illegal that might be going on. Here's more on that.
The FBI is investigating groups allegedly organizing anti-ICE protests in Minneapolis. Director Kash Patel said the Bureau is examining whether protest activity in Minneapolis has violated federal law. Patel said the investigation was prompted by reports that rioters were organizing activities through groups on the encrypted messaging app Signal. Speaking on Fox News yesterday, Patel said he was made aware of an influencer's reporting who said he infiltrated a Signal group used by rioters and protesters.
The Signal chat group is information we collect from the public because we repeatedly request the public provide us with information they have.
Patel suggested there was a possibility these chats were being coordinated by people around the country, not just in Minnesota. These groups have been allegedly sharing information about ICE agents' movements. Patel said the FBI is looking into whether anyone in them has been inciting violence.
We are not going after people and infringing on their freedom of speech to peacefully protest. We are definitely not going after people and their Second Amendment right to bear arms. Only if you incite violence and or threaten to do harm to law enforcement officials and break the law in any other way does it become an investigatory matter. So this Signal chat is something that we, the FBI, are looking at and spearheading.
The investigation comes as federal authorities are investigating shootings by ICE officers in Minnesota. Speaking to Fox News, Patel urged the public not to be swayed by media narratives.
Do not let the media cement a false narrative. Let these investigations run its course. Let us do our job with our interagency and state and local partners, and let's all take a breath and calm down the situation.
The FBI also says federal authorities have arrested 4 people over the alleged theft of sensitive information from government vehicles earlier this month. The documents were allegedly stolen when protesters and agents clashed after an ICE officer shot a man in the leg. In a post on social media, one person claimed the documents contained the full names of FBI agents, phone numbers, and emails, as well as maps on where they are staying and where they are holding illegal immigrants. Patel warned earlier this week it is illegal for anyone to track and dox federal agents. In a post on X, he said the FBI is chasing down every last person responsible for attacking, impeding, or threatening federal law enforcement doing their jobs.
A man has been arrested after spraying an unknown liquid at Congresswoman Ilhan Omar during a town hall meeting in Minneapolis. Audience members restrained the man before he was arrested. Omar's office said the Minnesota Congresswoman was not injured, and she continued her town hall after the incident. Police say the man has been charged with third-degree assault. It happened after Omar called for Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem to resign and for ICE to be dismantled. Yesterday's incident came on the same day the United States Capitol Police raised its threat assessment for members of Congress for the 3rd year in a row. A Friday deadline to fund the federal government is drawing near. Senate Republicans are asking Democrats to clarify their expectations around the funding for the Department of Homeland Security to find a compromise. NTD's Daniel Monahan reports on that and updates on ICE operations in Minnesota.
The atmosphere on Capitol Hill yesterday was uncertain as Democrats unite against funding the DHS. They are calling for reforms, though they haven't put forward a unified proposal on what those would look like.
The bill is passed without objection.
Last week, the House passed the $1.2 trillion spending package at issue. It would fund the Departments of Defense, Labor, Health and Human Services, Education, Transportation, Housing and Urban Development, and the DHS. The so-called minibus spending package seemed on track to pass the Senate until just a few days ago. That changed in the wake of the shooting of Alex Preddy, a protester carrying a firearm in Minneapolis, by Customs and Border Protection agents. Senate Democrats vowed to oppose the DHS component of the funding package in the incident's aftermath. Senate Leader John Thune called the death of Preddy a tragedy and called for an investigation into the shooting.
I'm glad that the president is sending Tom Homan to Minnesota, and I hope that his arrival will help restore order to the situation.
Thune called for reflection on some of the rhetoric leading up to the incident.
I also hope that recent tragedies have inspired some soul-searching among those who have participated in or encouraged abuse toward ICE officers and other law enforcement officers.
On that note, Philadelphia DA Larry Krasner called ICE officers a small bunch of wannabe Nazis yesterday during a press conference. Krasner vowed that they would be hunted down like Nazis were for decades and brought to justice. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt is calling such comparisons shameful and said they lead to increased tensions. Senator Chuck Schumer labeled ICE actions as abuses and criticized the administration.
The Senate must not pass the DHS budget as currently written and must be reworked to rein in and overhaul ICE to ensure the public's safety.
President Trump yesterday called for an investigation into the shooting incident and has expressed a desire to reduce tensions in Minnesota.
Well, you know, we're doing a big investigation. I want to see the investigation. I'm going to be watching over it. I want a very honorable and honest investigation. I have to see it myself.
The administration has withdrawn Greg Bovino, Commander-at-Large of the U.S. Border Patrol overseeing operations in the Twin Cities, in favor of Border Czar Tom Homan. But Democrats are demanding legislative changes before they'll back any bill containing DHS funding. While no unified message has emerged, several Democratic senators suggested potential changes. Senator Chris Murphy mentioned an independent investigation into Preddy's death, ending what he called roving patrols and calling for more education and body cams. For now, Majority Leader Thune says Republicans plan to move forward with the spending bill as a single package, adding that leadership is prepared to pursue a Plan B if that effort fails. Daniel Monahan, NTD News.
The Federal Reserve held interest rates steady after announcing its policy decision today, a pause that investors believe could extend through the spring. More news after this break.
What if kids in America didn't have to go to bed hungry tonight? What if our moms, dads, and grandparents could put healthy food on the table every day to help us grow strong? What if all of our friends and neighbors had fresh food too, and there was no hunger at all in America? And what if there was a way today for you to help? Call now or go online to helpfeedingamerica.org and give $19 a month, just 63 cents a day. So many of us don't have enough food to eat, but your monthly gift means families across the country and in your community can fill plates with food. Kids can get healthy meals year-round, even when school's out, and our neighbors can have fresh food. Food that moms, dads, entire families need to thrive. But right now, more people are facing hunger. Feeding America works from coast to coast with partner food banks, food pantries, and meal programs. It takes all of us to make that happen. Will you help too? Please call the number on your screen or go online to helpfeedingamerica.org and give just $19 a month. And we'll send you this free canvas grocery bag. It's our way of saying thank you for helping to end hunger for our neighbors. Because no kid, no mom or dad, nobody should go hungry in America. Nobody. So what if today was the day you could help nourish futures for our friends, our families, for all of us? Ending hunger is possible. What if we end it together? Call or give online today at helpfeedingamerica.org and your gift can be doubled. Thank you.
Where
did the time go? Somehow I lost all those years. Where did the time go? I don't know how I got here. Or how did I get here?
You've done the hard part. You quit smoking. Now do the easy part and get scanned for lung cancer. If you smoked, you may still be at risk, but early detection could save your life. Talk to your doctor and learn more at savedbythescan.org.
The Federal Reserve held interest rates steady after announcing its policy decision today, a pause that investors believe could extend through the spring. Recent economic data shows continued resilience. The unemployment rate fell to 4.4% in December, even as job growth slowed. Inflation remains elevated, with economists expecting the Fed's preferred inflation gauge to come in at about 3% year over year. That's above the central bank's 2% target. Some analysts say strong consumer spending and supportive fiscal policy have reduced the urgency for additional rate cuts. President Trump has called for sharper rate cuts. Trump also commented on the status of the U.S. dollar yesterday, saying it's, quote, doing great. U.S. Trade Representative Jamieson Greer said youth Korean officials, or South Korean officials, will travel to Washington this week for talks. The visit follows President Trump's threat to restore tariffs on Korean imports to 25%.
You can imagine that after the message went out, the Koreans swiftly contacted me and contacted others. Again, last summer, we reached a framework agreement with Korea. We implemented our portion where we modified our tariff rates. They were at 25%. We moved down to 15% for Korea as a show of good faith. They have not executed their part. They haven't implemented it. They have a commitment to invest $350 billion in the United States over the next 3 years. And they also have a commitment to allow more U.S. cars into Korea, to eliminate some of their non-tariff barriers on agriculture, to treat our digital companies fairly.
Greer says the Koreans have introduced new laws on digital services and still haven't been able to pass a bill to deliver the promised investments. The trade representative also said South Korea has not done what it needs to do on agriculture and industry. Greer added that it's hard for the U.S. to continue to hold up its end of the bargain while they have not moved swiftly enough on their end. President Trump said yesterday that the United States will negotiate a solution with South Korea. He offered no further details on potential concessions or timelines. President Trump today urged Iran to come to the table and make a deal on nuclear weapons, or the next U.S. attack would be far worse. In a Truth Social post, Trump said a massive armada of U.S. naval forces is heading toward Iran, led by the aircraft carrier USS Abraham Lincoln and other warships. The president says the fleet is moving with purpose and remains ready to fulfill its mission swiftly if needed. Trump repeated his long-standing demand that Iran agree to a deal that includes no nuclear weapons. The president says time is running out and that any attack will be far worse than Operation Midnight Hammer, which took out the country's nuclear capabilities. The United States has officially withdrawn from the 2015 Paris Climate Agreement, completing President Trump's repeated promise to leave the global pact. The administration says the agreement undermines American energy independence, pressures the U.S. to fund other countries, and imposes unfair regulations. President Trump said the U.S. must prioritize affordable, reliable energy production, including oil, gas, coal, and nuclear power. Despite leaving the agreement, the administration notes that America has led global reductions in CO2 emissions over the past 2 decades. Officials say a Chinese man has been sentenced to 46 months in prison for his role in scamming $37 million from U.S. citizens. Jing Liangsu pleaded guilty last year to working with a group of co-conspirators to operate an illegal money transmitting business. Prosecutors say the ring scammed 174 Americans. Other members allegedly include American and Chinese citizens living in California, Mexico, Cambodia, and China. Su himself was living in the United Arab Emirates. According to prosecutors, the crime ring operated out of Cambodia. Its members would get in touch with victims over social media calls, text messages, and dating apps. They would then send victims links to fake cryptocurrency investment websites and direct any funds the victims would transfer to shell companies. Su would receive a commission for every transfer he helped facilitate. British Prime Minister Keir Starmer arrived in Beijing today as he begins a 3-day tour in China. Starmer is traveling with more than 50 British business representatives. He is set to meet Chinese regime leader Xi Jinping and Premier Li Qiang. On Friday, Starmer will hold talks with Shanghai local officials. The last meeting between a British Prime Minister and Xi took place in 2018. By then, Prime Minister Theresa May, Starmer says before the visit, that he can strengthen trade ties with China while not harming relations with the United States.
We are resolute about being outward-looking, about taking opportunities, building relationships, having confidence globally, and always being absolutely focused on our national interest. And it is in our national interest to engage with China.
Relations between the UK and China have cooled for years due to concerns about security risks posed by the Chinese Communist Party. Those include Beijing's crackdown on political freedoms in Hong Kong, China's support for Russia in the Ukraine war, and allegations by British security services that China regularly spies on politicians and officials. Starmer's visit comes a week after his government approved plans for a mega Chinese embassy in London. The proposal has drawn controversy. NTD's International Photography Competition is in New York City this week, exhibiting the work of its finalists, celebrating both the aesthetics of photography and traditional values. More news after this break.
Shenyun Creations, the streaming platform from Shenyun, featuring world-class dance, past programs, and all original music. Masterclasses, behind the scenes, comedy, and more. Explore shenyuncreations.com.
I was a young dad of 3 amazing kids. I was finally following my dreams. Just when you feel like life is starting to come together, you get kind of hit in the face. I was born with a congenital heart defect and had open heart surgery as a kid. I was supposed to go to the heart doctor once a year, and I finally went. He listened to my heart, and I'll never forget, he sat back and he said, yeah, it's time for open heart surgery, or you risk your aorta rupturing, and that's it. I was scared out of my mind. The night before my open heart surgery, I made a goodbye video for my kids. Be strong. Take care of your mom. I love you guys.
Seeing, all the kids hug him goodbye and hoping that they were going to be able to hug him again.
I love you. But I did make it, thanks to the work of the American Heart Association. So that's why I'm asking you to join me. Please call now or go to helpheart.org. For only $19 a month, just 63 cents a day, you can help get the next person trained in CPR, get the next hospital certified in high-quality cardiovascular care, as well as fund the next medical breakthrough like these heart valves that helped save my life. When you give $19 a month with your credit card, we'll send you this special t-shirt to show you're a part of our community of monthly donors.
I'm most grateful that I get to have a husband that I get to grow old with, and a husband that gets to be there for his children.
I believe without the American Heart Association, I would not be here today. If this can happen to me, it can happen to you, it can happen to anybody. Your donation can literally help save a life. Please call the number on your screen or go to helpheart.org now to become a monthly donor.
I need to sell my house. Now, there are a lot of places that claim to know how much it's worth, but they don't really know my house or my neighborhood, and they definitely don't show me all my options. That's where HomeLight comes in. I just answer a few questions and HomeLight gives me a side-by-side comparison of my options, personalized for my needs. And they'll show me what verified buyers will pay for my house right now. It's easy, and it's free. No matter how you choose to sell your home, selling starts at HomeLight. Get started today at HomeLight.com.
This weekend's winter storm and the bitter cold that followed have caused prolonged power outages for hundreds of thousands. The damage from ice and cold was most significant in an area from East Texas through Louisiana, Mississippi, and into Tennessee. Here's an update on power recovery efforts.
Around 100 million people are under cold alerts for frigid temperatures that will stick around for days. More record lows are expected in the south and east through at least this weekend.
We could be looking at a while before a lot of people see power, even potentially into next week. And with the weather right now, that's a concern.
In Lafayette County, Mississippi, a majority of customers are still without power. Crews there are facing challenges with the cold weather and debris from trees.
Due to the impact of the trees falling, power lines snapping, the roadways are very impacted from that, and that just delays the linemen being able to get to those areas because we've got to get all that debris cleared out.
The governor of Mississippi deployed about 500 National Guard members to assist with debris cleanup and traffic control. Still, it takes time. A similar obstacle faced by crews in other southern states like Tennessee.
We've already had a few scenarios where lines have been restored on one stretch of a roadway, and just around the block, another line will come down as a new branch falls.
First Lady Melania Trump rang the opening bell at the New York Stock Exchange today. The First Lady made some remarks beforehand as she promotes her new documentary.
In the near future, cultural influence will matter as much as economic power. Our ability to tell our stories and emotionally connect with audiences is paramount. People long to be moved. We need stories that inspire dreams, offer hope, tales of redemption, sad stories, love stories, and funny stories.
The movie titled Melania depicts the First Lady's life during the first 20 days leading up to the president's second inauguration. The movie highlights her fashion choices, operations surrounding her Secret Service detail, and her role as an advisor to the president. Ahead of the film's theatrical release on January 30th, the president and First Lady will attend a premiere tomorrow at the John F. Kennedy Center for the Performing Arts. One of NTD's exclusive arts and culture event is happening right now. The NTD International Photography Competition is exhibiting its finalists' works this week at New York City's Salamagundi Club. The competition celebrates traditional values and the aesthetics of photography with works showcasing luminosity, kindness, and naturalism. Photographers around the world submitted their works. NTD's Flora Hua was there on the opening day. Here's the story.
When was the last time you saw a picture so beautiful that you wanted to save it as your wallpaper? Truly beautiful and powerful visual art can touch our heart and connect us. I certainly had many moments like that while walking through the finalist exhibition of NTD's photography competition. Let's take a look. NTD's photography competition has two categories, social relations and humanity, as well as nature and landscape.
I think good photography, right now we have a lot of division in the world where we are failing to see the common humanity in each other. And if we can just remember that we're all created, by a creator who loves all of us the same, if we can see that in each other, it will begin to bring us back together instead of growing further apart.
Gina Pottinger is a professional photographer with a 25-year career, and this is the first time she ever took part in a competition.
I think this is an incredible event. I thank the Epoch Times and NTD for putting it on. Seriously, this is a gold mine for the city of New York.
James Azair from Kansas City, Missouri loved this exhibition. He shared with us the story behind his photograph, a village in France called Rocamadour.
So you know that when you go there, it's a true secluded town, and it has a very special religious connotation to the people that live there. People still go there just to pray.
Adrian Yu from Hong Kong wanted to share the values that he has been practicing for nearly 3 decades: truthfulness, compassion, and forbearance. They're the core tenets of Falun Gong, a spiritual discipline rooted in the Buddhist tradition.
What I want to express is that this world needs truthfulness, compassion, and forbearance. We see that today's world is full of turbulence and insecurity, and in some places, there is even chaos. If truthfulness, compassion, and tolerance were promoted in the world, not limited to a single group or a single country, but practiced by all humanity, with everyone striving to be a good person, then perhaps the disorder in the world would gradually subside, and people could coexist more peacefully and joyfully in this world.
And I really appreciated, again, the realism, the fact that the competition was focused on like luminosity, generosity, kindness, because that's in my work. I consider my photography as documentary photography, just documenting what people are doing and how they're living and how they're trying to make their local environment a better place, how they are loving one another and caring for one another. So I felt that the photos I have taken would fit very well with the theme.
Lucy Zhou, the director of the competition, says these photos reflect the theme very well.
This time we received application from over 180 countries, which is really surprised us. And then the judge panel picked up the 186 photos into the finalists.
The exhibition is taking place throughout the week, with the award ceremony scheduled this Thursday. Flora Hua, NTD News.
CMS Administrator Dr. Mehmet Oz promising to investigate alleged welfare fraud in California. Governor Gavin Newsom reacts. More news after this break.
The bladder control aisle. You won't shop here again. Your private business is your own. The constant struggle is over. Now there's a better way. It's HDIS. We home deliver bladder control products. We understand how you feel. For over 25 years, we've home delivered to many of the 20 million Americans who deal with incontinence. We offer all brands. We pay shipping and use plain, unmarked boxes. If we can help you or someone you care for, call for your free product sample pack and $45 in money-saving coupons. Our counselors will help you choose the right product. And unlike stores, we're always in stock. You'll get what you need. Satisfaction guaranteed. HDIS, the better way.
For your free sample pack with your free catalog, $45 in money-saving coupons, and free product samples, call 1-800-701-6159. That's 1-800-701-6159.
We come from a long line of farmers, and there's a sense of pride with being part of these multi-generational businesses. But there's also a significant amount of pressure. My senior year of high school, my dad made the decision that this world no longer needed him in it. I don't know if he was overwhelmed by the bills and checks that weren't going to be coming in because of the strawberries dying off, but it breaks my heart that my dad made a permanent decision for a temporary issue. Don't feel like you have to go through it alone.
Farmers have to take care of their physical and their mental health, because what's a farm without a farmer?
In the mornings, that's my time. Watching the sun come up, I can have a cup of coffee and exercise if I want to. It helps me start the day with a sense of gratitude.
Yay!
Every day is a new opportunity. Don't forget to check in on yourself. Love, your mind.
Where did the time go? Somehow I lost all those years. Where did the time go? I don't know how I got here. Or how did I get here?
the hard part. You quit smoking. Now do the